This morning, we're looking into House Bill 60, an education equity bill that specifically impacts Native language teachers.
It's shocking when you think about that Native American languages, the first languages that predate New Mexico as a state, weren't held in the same parity as those as Spanish, German, French, other Romance languages that are currently taught in schools today.
That is until this year. The governor has also signed into law House Bill 60, which will bring Native language teachers, those that teach one of 8 dialects in New Mexico, on the same pay scale as other secondary language teachers.
Be able to bring that to those Native American language teachers, that pay equity, some that currently were being paid $15,000 a year full-time to teach their native tongue in the various school districts, was extremely important.
The bottom line here is that New Mexico's children need and deserve a high-quality education that embraces their unique assets and give them the best chance to succeed.
The group Transformation Education NM seeks to fix New Mexico's education system by working with education, tribal and community leaders, and they say there's a lot of work left to do.
We are ready to continue that work in conjunction with New Mexico leaders and the state to ensure that we are being culturally competent, not only in addressing the needs and necessities of our communities, but that we are also listening to them, because they are the ones that hold the wisdom. They are the ones that live in those communities and understand the needs.
Supporters of this legislation say it legitimizes Native American languages in New Mexico.
Reaction from all those teachers is one that thank you for legitimizing indigenous languages as those that are important to be taught in public school settings.
About 124 Native language teachers are impacted by this legislation. It's one of a series of bills introduced by Representative Lente over the past few years. He's visited and reached out to Pueblo nations and tribes about their concerns.
How do we transform education for Native American students? And so from these visits, developed pieces of legislation that have been truly transformational and truly organic in regards to how we are leading this charge that is, one, being led from the ground up and not a trickle down, people talking about how they can improve education for us, but how we can improve education for ourselves.
So what's next? Well, House Bill 60 has been signed into law, but there were also a number of other bills that did not make it to the governor's desk. So supporters say it comes down to policy changes, funding, infrastructure investments, not just for the younger students, but also in higher ed.
How do we transform education for Native American students? And so from these visits, developed pieces of legislation that have been truly transformational and truly organic in regards to how we are leading this charge that is, one, being led from the ground up and not a trickle down, people talking about how they can improve education for us, but how we can improve education for ourselves.
And I also wanted to mention that this is, again, a series of legislations that they're looking into to deal with pay equity.
And there's already been like a district here in our state that's really been a leader in doing this.
Yeah, that's what Representative Lente was talking about, how Bernalillo Public Schools already gave their teachers a raise last year to kind of bring it up to that scale, and now they're hoping to have that statewide.